How's it, everyone? Welcome back. This is the Mac Coast to Coast Show. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you know when we go live. Here's your host, Brian McLamara.
Hey, Mac Coasters. Welcome back. It's another episode of your favorite show, the Mac Coast to Coast Show. And I'm here with my fabulous co-hosts. I got Razzle.
Hey, how about them Bucks, baby? Super Bowl. Whee!
Oh, yeah. You're excited about that. And T-Max.
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's been enjoying the show. I appreciate the comments lately. And we hit 500 subscribers. Appreciate you guys subscribing. Enjoy the show. Woo!
That's right. And, you know, we're looking for you, looking for help from you. Uncle Brian needs you to go ahead and go to the page and hit that subscribe bell, man. Ring that bell.
Ring it, baby. Ring it.
And with that, let's go ahead and get a shout out to our sponsors. Brotherhood 808 Clothing. Let's just face it, you can't get any other clothes. And did you know that video sells 65% more everything? I'm excited. Showcase your brand at Brand Ready Media. And the Carving King. If you've got a watermelon and you're tired of cutting it up on the kitchen counter, buy a Carving King. Hey guys, so it's another great day in the neighborhood. It's what is it? It's February 2nd. Almost ready for the Super Bowl. Are you guys ready?
Oh man, I'm ready, boy. Woo, I got my helmet back there representing. You know, Buccaneers, baby. Let's go. We're going to take it. We're at home. First time ever a team has played in their home stadium for the Super Bowl. So it's history in the making. Let's go Bucks, baby. Yee, Tom Brady. Bring it home.
How long you guys been Bucks fans?
1976.
Whoa, you're dating yourself there, brother. Dating yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I was still in my mother's stomach at the time.
Back when
And I
and
really know how old you are, so that is a little disturbing right there, just in that part.
Yeah.
you know, we were Miami fans at first because I was born in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and then we moved up by Tampa, about an hour outside of Tampa. So we became Buck fans when they were, you know, the old unis, and they were 0-17 or whatever they were. But it's nice to be in the Super Bowl with them again. Yee! Love
A lot of these youngsters don't know that there was only one football team in Florida back then, see? And then the Buccaneers came in 76, and then the Jaguars came in 90 maybe. So if you lived in Florida, you were basically a Miami fan until then. So
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so it was even better when the Redskins spanked Miami back in, what was that, 83 or 84?
Well, you got to realize I was born in Arlington, so the Redskins are my backup team. They're
Washington.
They're my home
Washington
team.
now.
Washington football team. You know,
I kind of like that name now, you know? I'm kind of digging it.
the Washington football team.
I'm getting used to it. I'm trying it on, you know?
Right. I'm kind of used to it already too.
I just call them the WFTs. It's a lot to say there.
That's right. The WFTs.
Yeah. So, Brian, I want to wish you happy birthday, brother. You just had your birthday.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
Birthday, Brian.
Happy birthday, brother.
Thanks, man. It was great. Had
Trip around the sun.
Yeah, not the last, hopefully. Hopefully not the last trip. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever tried it, but I highly recommend it. Johnny Walker Blue. Ooh. Really good stuff, man.
Oh, my friend at work drinks Johnny Walker, man. He likes that. I forget what label he likes, but good stuff, huh?
The blue.
Oh, yeah.
The blue's the premier or something, right? The upgraded one.
Yeah, it's like $226 a bottle or something.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Man.
You better not wake up with a hangover with that.
Man, you think
Yes,
better
I want
sleep.
my money back.
Think
It's
better
it's wicked smooth, dude. It's really good. Like, I was telling my girlfriend, she was telling me yesterday, we were talking about it, like, now, ever since she's tasted that, she can't drink Jameson. She can't drink any of it. It's like, she's just
Oh,
like,
hell.
It's spoiled her now. Now you're spending $250 every week.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
guys be popping Dom before you know it down at the club.
That's it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is to, when the expensive liquor is gone, is to fill it up with cheap liquor and then offer it to your friends.
Hey, it's free, man. They probably wouldn't care. Shit. Drink that shit.
I mean, if you think that's cold, you got to remember a couple nights I've fallen asleep and woken up only to find that all of the expensive liquor has been drank and mixed with Coke at that. Like, if you're gonna mix good whiskey, don't.
You can't dilute it with some Coke. That just ruins it, right?
Yeah, dude, you might as well just be flushing it right down the toilet. Just skip your body and pour it right into this fucking toilet.
Well, now you know how our parents felt back in the day, right? They're like, I've had 5 drinks and I'm not even catching a buzz because it was all water where we filled it up. We drank half the bottle. I never did that, but I've heard of it.
Of course not. Of course not.
Right. Of course you did.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that time at the cabin. I brought Bill and DJ up there, and I fell asleep because I was so tired. I worked the whole night before and drove up there. I woke up, and they had drank all the beer. They drank my bottle of peach whiskey that I was going to sit around the fire and take some hits off of.
That's
Bummer.
brutal, man. Brutal.
Is that the night Heads World was like, I'm all right. I'm gonna wake up good tomorrow.
Yeah, I got the puking video from that one. It was awesome. I bet him $10 he was going to throw up, and he was like, "No, I'm good." All right.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
what are you guys looking forward to other than the Super Bowl?
I just got back from Alabama. I went up there. My friend invited me to go. I'm not on the lease this year, so I went up there, and my girl got me these new game trail cameras, and it sends the pictures like directly to your phone. It's pretty awesome.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, you showed me a couple shots of the deer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there was a bunch of deer up there. It's a good time. It was cold.
So, what are you hoping to get with that game camera? What are you looking for?
You can just kind of see what kind of animals you got on the property, and you can kind of pattern them, what time they come through that area. But, a lot of times it doesn't really matter. But just kind of see what you have on there. And I got one just sitting on my cabin, so if somebody tries to steal something from there, then I automatically get pictures of their tag and kind of a description of the person,
That's cool.
And how does it get power?
It's got a solar little charger on top of it.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can you because I'm just thinking out loud, this is the kind of thing that my brother and I would have loved when we were younger. Like, we'd have been putting up this thing in all kinds of places and like setting little traps and like jokes for people and then like getting reactions of people and stuff like that. It texts it back to your phone. Can they trace it back to you if they find it? Like the cops?
No, and I've got them registered, so if somebody steals one, you just report it, and I guess they can, I don't know if they can track it or what. I'm not sure how that works.
That's pretty awesome, dude. That's
cool.
That's exciting.
Yeah, they come a long way with those things, man. That one guy on YouTube, he's got a thing, he's just, he put like a big mound of peanut butter and stuck some peanuts in it, and he was seeing what kind of animals came and ate it, and it's got like 1 million views.
Yeah, I was telling Raz he needs to get something going with that on YouTube. Get some million views going.
I saw. You guys ever seen? You ever seen those groundhog catching videos where the guys take a whole bottle of water and they stick it in a groundhog hole, and the groundhog jumps right up into it. You ever seen that?
Oh, I know.
Oh man, you're gonna love it. Hold on. I'm gonna dish this right up.
There you go. Pull it up.
Dish it right up.
You know, we were talking about beavers last week. There's a couple big beavers up there in Alabama. They blocked off the creek and they had the whole back area flooded.
Wow.
Big old, cut trees down like that big around. It's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
They drag them over and put them in the dam or whatever.
All right, so here we go. We got jugging for gophers.
Wow.
Oop.
What?
It's like a jacuzzi.
Look, watch. He's gonna pop right up any minute. Watch. Jugging for gophers. Here we go.
Here we go. I promise. Where's he at?
Oh, that was anticlimactic.
Oh, where's he at?
That was brutal.
Man.
Oh, you get no action.
That's like a hole from the putting green, isn't it?
That guy just dumped 3 gallons of water at the.
Yeah, what a waste, man. That's
Yeah.
to the like $15 down there.
I got 3 of them in my house. They're expensive every month.
Yeah, he just wasted
You know,
$15 right there.
people ought to be able to. They got to edit these videos. They got to be responsible when they do that, man.
At least
Well, he
show
just got
something after it.
He just got a view and some comments from us.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that's brutal. All right, hold on. I'm gonna pull up another one. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Jugging for gophers, part 3.
This one actually has one.
All right, here we go.
Hey, come again, man.
Come on, man. Where's he at?
Come
Where's
on.
the gopher?
Come
Where's he at?
on.
Oh, he
Where's
might
the-
get one.
Where's the gopher? Where?
How's the?
Oh,
there he is, dude.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit, he pulled it off. Wow. What a trip.
Yeah, take him on down and trade it in.
Yeah. Probably take it down to the local pet store and get some money for him.
I was talking about trading the bottle with the rat in it.
That's funny.
Guy come pick him up a couple weeks later. Oh, yeah. Smells like a dead rat in here.
And with that said, hey kids, we've got a great guest for you. So grab your surfboards and your knobs or whatever those things are that hang down around your nuts, and let's get ready for a fantastic guest. He comes straight to you from Lennox Head, Australia. Let's give a warm welcome to Scott Crump.
Hey,
Welcome
so
to the
here's our
show.
special guest, Scott Crump. How you doing, man? Right out of Lennox Head, Australia. How you doing, brother? This is my
Excellent,
brother.
excellent.
This is my brother Raz and my cousin Brian, B-Max.
What's
Hello,
happening,
boys.
brother?
Oh, just living it. Crazy times.
How's down under?
It's good. It's waves have been pumping. The water's super warm. It's summer. It's not snowing.
Nice.
Oh, you get
Go ahead.
you get snow down there? Or are you talking like Northern Cal when you lived up there?
No, I'm talking about. Aren't one of you guys in DC? You're probably in snow right now.
Oh yeah, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Brian is, yep.
Yeah,
He's
it's
over
real
there with
mild snow.
Summertime right now in Australia where he's surfing 6 foot in glass every day. Loving
It's
it.
been pumping, but there's a lot of I guess you'd call it unrest in town right now because out of nowhere the WSL announced they're going to hold a WCT event here at our local Point Break in April.
Oh
So-
wow.
So there's a lot of mixed feelings because Lennox used to be a pretty localized spot, but it's kind of blown out now. So we'll see what happens with that.
Oh, yeah. All the locals are like, get out of here. We don't want it here, right?
A lot of spray paint in the parking lot, that's for sure, saying contests go away and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Wow.
It's a national surf reserve as well, so it'll be interesting to see if they can even really pull it off, you know. But
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm mixed on it. You know,
Well-
the crowds are already there. It'd be nice to see the guys surf out there, but at the same time, yeah.
It
It's a
only attracts more surfers when they see it on the contest too, you know. More guys want to come, you know.
Oh, 100%. But like this last year, generally we're better in like June, July, August, kind of our winter months at the point
Yeah.
here. And last year there was like Snapper Rocks type crowds out there. So I don't really think that it could get much worse, to be honest, but we'll see. The last few years, it's just the crowds have elevated heavily.
Wow.
That's a tough one. I don't know. You know, I'm 56. I can still get the odd wave out there, but I don't get as many as I used to because the crowds are pretty unruly.
Right.
But
So-
all good.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your history, man, and how you became a shaper? Or something?
Yeah, I started surfing as a kid in San Francisco, Santa Cruz area, and lived up there till I was about 15, and then decided I wanted to move to Southern California and try to be a pro surfer like everyone does. And lived in Carlsbad, went to Carlsbad High School, and started traveling, doing contests. First time I came to Australia was 1982, which is a long time ago, and fell in love with the place and started shaping in around 92, 93 at Burn Surfboards down in Wollongong. They were my sponsor at the time, and did that for a while. And then I've moved around a lot, went around the world and shaped in Europe and in Africa and places like that. Moved to Half Moon Bay, lived in Half Moon Bay for 4 or 5 years, and then made the big leap to Australia in 2003. And I've been here ever since, except for I traveled to Europe a bit for work in Brazil.
Wow, that's cool. I wanted to ask you, like, who influenced you and got you into shaping, and how long did it take you to kind of get good at it? You know, how long does that take?
That's a good question. And back when I was learning, it was taking a lot longer because we didn't have the CNC machines. I shaped a couple of rough boards with my sponsor as a kid, Michael Barron, down in Oceanside.
Yeah.
And then he started doing Burn surfboards as a license, and I got connected up with Phil Burn, and that's when I moved to Australia after a stint in Indonesia, and I learned from Phil. I would no one was in the factories on Sundays, so I'd work in the shop during the week, and then I would just I'd shape a board every Sunday, ride it a couple times, put it in the second-hand board rack, and sell it for what it costs, and just kept doing that for a couple of years.
Oh,
and then
great.
They evolved pretty quick, and then just influences traveled around. When I moved to Half Moon Bay and set up my factory there, I was lucky to have a lot of friends from Santa Cruz, and I shaped some boards for Adam Rapogel. I don't know if you guys remember him, but
Yeah.
he made the CT one year, legend surfer, really cool guy, and a bunch of other guys from Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz Rat Pack guys?
Yeah, totally. And they at the time they were getting a lot of photos in the surf magazine, so it sort of elevated my status pretty quick.
Yeah, because the other big shaper around there is Pearson Arrows or something, right? Up in
Yeah, he was my
Marin
sponsor
County.
as a kid, Bob Pearson. Yeah, he was my sponsor when I was I lived in Santa Cruz from when I was about 18 to about 23.
Oh, okay.
And he was my sponsor. He's a legend guy. He doesn't seem to age. He's like a timeless guy. Looks the same still.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I look way different.
Yeah, his boards are pretty famous. I mean,
Yeah, he's really generally kind of, back then he was a shortboard guy, but now he's really like one of the top longboard shapers. So,
okay.
And Mavericks, makes a lot of Mavericks boards and stuff ever since that Jay Moriarty famous wave where he ate shit. Can you
Yeah.
swear?
Yeah, I see that you have, like, you got Medina on your boards, and you were telling me you had Barton Lynch, you shape boards for them, and you got some pictures of your site on the WSL, and I see
that's
that purple. I see that purple board's kind of like got like a thruster setup, but the back fin is almost like a large fin, like a longboard almost. That the one you're holding.
Yep.
Hang on, you're almost there, Brian. Keep clicking. The purple board.
it was in the
It's
by
the beginning.
itself.
Yeah.
Talking about
yeah,
that one.
That one
Oh, yeah.
right there. Yeah. You see how the back fin's almost like a huge back fin. Tell me a little bit about the progression of you guys shaping, and how everybody's starting to get into that old retro kind of style, and the single fins and the tris and the quads. Can you explain a little bit to us about that?
Yeah, totally. Well, for me, I was like, when I came up, did a majority of my most high profile shaping was in the 90s, and everything was a 510 squash tail with 3 fins on it. And so everyone, I mean, you kind of, and I did a lot of ghost shaping for big brands, and you kind of get pigeonholed a little bit, just smashing those out. And then just a few years ago, I had a bad rotator cuff tear just from a random non-surfing thing. And I decided that I was out of the water for about 6 weeks. I decided when I came back, I wanted to make a board just like my very first surfboard. And it was my first board was a 6'8" swallowtail by a Santa Cruz / Hawaiian shaper named Court Guyon. And I used to stay just underneath his house, just at, I think it was like sort of kind of like between Rocky Point and what's that, Monster Mush right there? Monster
Yeah,
Mush.
Monster Mush, yeah. That's
Anyway,
my area. I like that area. That's the
Yeah,
spot.
you can get waves there. And anyway, yeah, so I made a board like that, the same dims and 6/8 swallowtail, and I just to make my comeback because it's an easy paddler. And but I did a bit of research because there's a fair bit of I live quite close to Byron Bay, and it's kind of like the Santa Cruz of Australia. There's a lot of retro stuff, a lot of they've been ahead of it for ages, all the twin fins and single fins and all that. And it's only like 10 miles up the road. So I did a bit of research and I made that board for myself, and I freaking loved it, man. The thing's so loose, and it taught me to not just the paddling, but to ride different parts of the wave and trim and all that kind of stuff. So and it was, obviously the big retro movement, it was well timed. So I made that one, and I've never even put the side fins or side bites or whatever you want to call it. I just put a 7.5 fin that we do at Arcade, middle of the box, never moved it. Freaking love that thing. And I lent it out to probably about 25, 30 people, and it took off. And that's our single cruiser model, and that it's probably about 20% of my work at the moment. It's just really fun. I just thought single fins were always slow, but they're not. You just have to pocket ride them. Different kind of surfing.
Right. Draw your turns out more and stuff, right?
Actually, it's almost like high line in the pocket to get speed. Once you have speed, you can do anything.
Right.
So, and then at the same time, the twin fins have been making a huge comeback. So I kind of got totally off track and just made single fins and twin fins for a while. And I've really worked on them, made myself a ton of them and a few guys around here that ride my boards. And now that's probably 70% of our work, I would say.
You were telling me earlier that you're into this fins and shaping fins. And do you have some fins you can show us? You got some sample fins or? For
the twinnies?
Just
this
show
one,
people like Brian and our viewers that don't surf, maybe give them a little sample.
Hold it real still, Scott. There you go. Bam.
Perfect.
So
that's
perfect.
the one on the purple board right there, huh?
No, this is actually an oversized twinny. You can see the back part, it kicks up because it's oversized twinny. It's quite stiff, and it's designed to give the twinny some control because they're pretty wild once you get going fast and try to do a big rail turn.
Yeah.
And then from this one, we went to this one, which is I don't know if we're gonna get this on there.
Oh yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
That's a full blown keel fin, from tip to front edge. It's 7 or 8 inches. So these two, and then you still some boards are better with the more MR style upright fin, but yeah, no, I'm really into that. And then we've been doing longboards as well. What we in Australia they call longboards Malibus.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
If you say a longboard, they're they just call them all Malibus. I don't know why. And the Malibu style longboards are more like the logs. They're not the high performance ones. They got nose big spoon nose concaves and no edges in the tail and a ton of tail kick. Really nose rider type boards. And with them, I made a fin like this. Can you see this one?
Wait, it takes a second to refresh your.
Yeah, you got to hold it up there. Hold it. Don't move it. Hold it. Hold it.
Yeah. Wait.
Hey, you're froze. You're froze.
Oh well, it's a 9.75 fin. I did this with this well-known photographer Tony Roberts. He's from Santa Cruz originally. He's been down in Costa Rica and Central America for years doing he did Quicksilver Crossing stuff and all that. Anyway, he's a ride anything guy. He's I think he's 55 and he does airs on 5.6s and he rides logs and super creative guy. Still does a ton of photography and I think he's been in Dominican Republic for the whole COVID thing and been putting 6 shots through. But he does a lot of stuff like Alex Nostr, I don't know how to say his name, and a few of the other longboarders come down there, and so he got pretty influenced by them, and we decided to collaborate on a fin. So that thing's pretty rad. And then being in Dominican Republic, he's had an interesting year, but they've been getting a ton of surf down there.
We need to get Brian a Malibu to cruise on.
Yeah.
That's right. Is it too late? If I never surfed before, is it too late for me to start now? I just turned
25.
What?
We just had a little thing happen here on the show. We had a little error. I don't know.
It's the best time ever to be learning, really, as an older dude, because if you were learning in the 90s, people would have thrown you on a little thruster and you would have had no chance. But now there's a ton of we make a lot of mid-length boards from 6.3 all the way up to 7.2. that have, over 50 liters of volume. They're 21 inches wide. Those things are stable and you can learn really easy. Or like you can ride like a Malibu or a longboard, and that's the easiest to get to your feet. But unless you want to ride perfect little 1 foot point breaks your whole life, you'll never get out on a beach break trying to duck dive it. They're too hard. Yeah. Longboards are hard to get out unless it's a perfect little Santa Cruz pleasure point paddle out or something like that.
Yeah. So when I was growing up and surfing, this is Tom Curran and Tom Carroll, all those guys. I'm I'm an older guy, but it was all about length on the board, and now it's more like volume, like you're talking about. So explain a little bit, like, to the average person what volume means on a surfboard.
Well, yeah, that really came in probably about I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 years ago now, with designing on the Shape 3D and Accu as well. Like whenever you do a board, you do the widths and all that, and you hit a volume, which is just a computer calculated actual amount of foam or flotation, if you will, that's in the board. But it is, some people think, a lot of people like when we were talking earlier, you have a magic volume number. But I mean, if you switch shapers, they might put foam in different places and the same volume won't yield the same results. But it's super vital. So like, for example, say I make you a 6'3" mid-length twin fin that's 20 and a half, 2 3/4, and it's 36, 37 liters. You could order those same basic dimensions without the volume and get quite a different literage. A lot of it has to do with the thickness of rail and all that kind of stuff. But it's a really good number to know because especially if you're older and you want to hit a certain number, like I'm 56, I'm Tom Curran's age, he was my nemesis in competition growing up because you could never beat the guy. Right. But he always rode high volume boards. Like when I used to see his boards, I'd be like, whoa, because we were all on chips, and he always rode kind of flat deck, like that Black Beauty thing. That board's big, man. That was a big board. Yeah. But he got a ton of flotation, and we were all Huntington hopping to get through the gutters, and he's S-ing and gliding, and finally the chip thing ran its course, thank God. So yeah,
that's the thing with me. I'm 6'3", 250 now, so lately when I go surfing, I'm struggling to paddle and catch a wave. It's just like a lot of work, and I don't have the stamina because I don't surf all the time. So
yeah, but if you have the volume, you can I mean, it all comes down to really having the right board for you. That's why, to me, like right now in 2021 and all that, like I've really seen a renaissance of custom shapers versus the big box mass production. There's less and less. I mean, I used to wholesale a ton back 10 years ago, and now pretty much 95% of the boards I shape have someone's name on them. They're custom designed, which is unreal. I love that.
Which I love, man. I don't want to buy a board that I go in and it's, mass produced, and I like that magic touch from the shaper. It's like you just put that little extra in there,
Oh, 100%. Because I mean, it comes down like a lot of times. Like, say I was going to make a board for you and you're in Hawaii and I'm in Australia, I'll get, like, if you've been surfing a long time, I'll go, hey, send me a clip, just of anything, and don't, edit it. I don't want to see that one wave at backdoor that you did perfect. I want to see the ones where, feet weren't in the wrong place, things like whatever, because then you can see what the faults are in the board. Right. And then you go, exactly what are you riding? And, half the time, a lot of my customers come to me and they're like, oh, I've been riding the CI Rocket Wide or the JS Black Box or whatever. And I like this, but I don't like that. And for me, I'll go and have a peek at those boards because they're all in the shops here, Right. And then I'll go, and then I'll sit down and I'll design what I feel is what I want to try to improve upon those mass-produced designs for you,
Yeah, I like what you're. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. We do it for people all over the world. It's like I send boards to a lot of places, and I actually work with like in Brazil. I used to go and shape a lot until COVID. But now I have a guy down there. I send a file. A Brazilian guy will send the stuff to me. I'll do all the work, send it to the guy. The shaper will call me, and we get the board exactly almost pretty much like I did it. I mean, don't tell anyone that. I guess we're telling everyone that. But it's the same in Europe. There's like a guy there, and that does my boards for the UK. But every single board, there's a ton of communication. It's not just like, all right, 10, 510, high whiskey models or whatever. Everything's every dimension's different. There's no real stock.
Yeah, so that's what I was telling you earlier, that I have this new board that I got, and I have a love-hate relationship with it because sometimes I love it when my feet are positioned correctly, but I noticed, I told you earlier, I get hung up at the top of the wave and the wave steepens up. I know I got it, but for some reason I'm hanging up at the top, and you were saying that has something to do with the rocker. Maybe there's too much flat section. And the thing that I would love is like getting to know my shaper to like you, I could talk to and tell him like, hey man, I want to fly. I like speed. I like speed and turns. That's what my surfing's about. I'm not doing airs. I just like power gouges and that's what.
Totally. And we were talking before that model you're talking about is a small wave version of a proven design. But the thing is, people think small waves, they go thicker, wider, less rocker. But which is normally that would be all right if you're talking really small 1 foot second light at Cocoa Beach or whatever down there.
Oh yeah.
That kind of wave, that's what you want. But if you're trying to ride 3 foot funky sandy beach or something like that, when you just instantly lower the rocker, you get sort of this awkward bend in the front end, and that won't allow you to roll in. Like we have a saying, like when a rocker the entry rocker is when you're looking at a board flat, but actually when you're paddling for a wave and you're going down the face, that's where the rocker really starts. And it's usually just right where your chest is. And if there's a flat right there, a lot of times it'll resist once the wave starts to suck up a little bit, and that's what that'll push you back. So it's all about, like we have the phrase that this board has a buttery rocker, entry rocker, which means it just slides in like butter,
Brian likes that word.
I'm not saying
buttery.
Exactly. I'm not saying every single
Makes
one of
him
my
think of his
has that.
macaroni and cheese.
No, butter. I have bad memories of
Macaroni.
Macaroni.
Let it slide.
Yeah, that's
So
his 90% of his diet is macaroni and cheese. He said in one
my
show.
God,
That's why he
it's a
brought
hot
it up.
dog either, but-
Yeah,
My
man,
mom
and beer.
And beer,
Macaroni
yeah.
and beer, yeah.
That's what when I was talking to you earlier, I was like, I haven't really done a podcast before, and I'm on coffee instead of beer because it's morning here, and it would have been better with a beer for sure.
Right? Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, as a shaper, have you ever just like been in there shaping and you finish this board and all of a sudden you're like, man, this is the one, and then you give it to somebody and they're not impressed with it, and you're like, damn, because it just felt right, but it just didn't surf right, I guess.
Yeah, totally. I both things. Like I've had I remember back in what was it, probably around '98, I want to guess. There's quite a famous surfer from here in Australia named Shane Powell, and he was going for a title. I mean, if it wasn't for Slater, he would have had a couple titles, but I'm sure there's 11 other guys that can say that as well. But
Right.
he asked me out of nowhere. I'd shaped him some boards through Kira Surf for their own label. They weren't even. They had a little tiny Crump shaped logo on them, and he had really liked the small wave ones. And he asked me to make him a couple boards for Hawaii, and I'm like, it was kind of out of the blue because it's very different. But I've done a lot of boards for there, and I did him. I think it was a 6.5 and a 6.8 little pintail thrusters. He was that was in the chip phase. Boards were super rockery, and he went to Mundaka. They had when they used to have the CT at Mundaka, and the first round it was just freaking pumping. It was like almost washing Mundaka 10, 12 feet, and back then there was no webcast, And I didn't even know if he was riding those boards. I thought he had gone to Hawaii. I didn't even know there was I knew there was an event, but I wasn't following it because he couldn't follow it. And he sent me this. That's when we used to send faxes, and he sent me this fax going, "Hey, I rode that 6.5 in my first heat. Went pretty good." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." That's all he said. He's super dry. Like he doesn't elaborate. He's not one of those guys. And so I finally got on the ASB website that night to see the results. And he'd got a freaking a 9.2 and an 8.5 on his first two waves and smashed Parco and someone else in the heat. And I was like,
Yeah, it's okay.
Why didn't that happen now, But then he asked me to replicate the same boards, and we were using CNC at the time, but it was nothing like now. Like it was pretty much they scan the boards instead of you design them. And I thought I made him identical boards, and he took it to Sunset. And he freaking hated it. I was just like, oh, well, I thought they were identical boards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and that must
I was
be
like,
hard, is to get the identical board. When somebody brings you a board and say, can you shape something exactly? It's kind of hard to make the same board twice, right?
For sure, even with all the technology we have, because the design really now, because I've been on the Shape 3D since 2003, so I've been doing it a while. But the design now, they're a lot more closer than they used to be. But still, you have to have skills to finish shape a board. It's not like you can just throw your mom in there and go, hey, dust that off and I'll go ride it. So the thing the most probably important thing that the machine doesn't do is the bottom edge is correct. So when we design a board, the bottom edge, you leave it kind of out wider and then you shape that into it. And just by running the tail edge up an extra 3 or 4 inches or not far enough up, board has more drive or less drive, and you can't put that on the computer. It's like a simple thing, but the computer doesn't pick that up, and that's why like a lot of times like when I was go shaping up at JS, they come in and they go, oh, just do this a little different, because everyone's got their own styles, and he wants his that way, I want mine this way, and like even different boards like twin fins, you have to run and single fins, you need to run the edges way farther up because they don't have 3 fins to drive off of. So you want that board to bite, hold, and project. Whereas the thruster, you can pretty much just turn off the fins. You got 3 fins back there. You just muscle it, and as long as it's a good design, it'll go.
Right.
So we actually keep the edges softer on the thrusters farther back, so they're freer because they have such an engine house in the back end.
Well, I would think that in the day and age that we're in now, with Brian, if you could pull it up, the wave pool technology this day and age, we got the surf lake in Australia. I don't know if you've ever surfed it, but I was interested in, I just wondered, like, being a shaper, like, nowadays you're able to have guys jump out in this and practice and try your board, and it's a perfect wave. It's a perfect spot to try a new board, because it's a perfect wave,
Oh, 100%. I mean, Slater's laughing. He's got a wave that goes about 150 yards, and he can ride it all day long when no one else is around. But I was on this thing we used to have to call the Bud Tour, which way back in the day was like a pro-am sort of pro surf tour, and we had events at. We had Irvine had a wave pool. We had an event at. I was in the Allentown Massacre, if you want to call it, like the World Inland Surfing Championships. But what I found so random about those pools, the waves were terrible. So it was all about float, because you just had to, and they were counting maneuvers, so you had to have thick boards and maybe epoxy because EPS is more buoyant. But, we're all going, oh, it's such a hoax, and the waves were crappy. But I remember in the final in Allentown, it was Derek Coe and Tom Carroll. And in the final the same year at Pipe, I believe it was Derek Coe and Tom Carroll. So the skills, you still had to have skills. There was we thought there was going to be like little air guys and trick guys that came in and smoked it, and that didn't really happen. But getting back to your point about these better waves, I mean, other than the fact that the pools are all fresh water, which is different buoyancy,
That's true.
I mean, as far as testing repetition, you can definitely refine boards for those waves, but buoyancy is a lot different in freshwater and saltwater.
That's true.
Oh,
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So you could make the ultimate board at the wave lakes, and then bring it out and paddle out in somewhere like Hawaii that's got a lot of salt in the water, a ton of salt and stuff, and you're gonna be sitting up to your neck on that board, and then no, hold on, it's less buoyant in the freshwater.
Yeah, you'd be out of the water completely.
It'll be floating too much, right? Yeah.
Exactly, and then you're skipping out when you try to do turns.
Gotcha.
So there's that element, but I think there's going to be a lot more wave pools. So there's definitely going to be a thing happening there. It'll be interesting to see if, like, you hear, there's 60, 70, 80 licenses for these technologies between Surf Lakes, Wave Garden. I don't think Slater's really doing much, but the Wave Garden's really the most popular one out of the Basque Country.
Yeah, they're getting ready to open one down here on the East Coast. I think down by Stewart.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be great for the East Coast. You guys got some flat spells there.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
I heard they were doing one Shane Besham's got one he's doing in Hawaii, but it's one of the standing waves. It's not those, like, you ride a board with no fins, I think. And you know the ones I'm talking about?
Kind of like on the cruise ships or something.
Yeah, exactly, but a way bigger thing. I think it's going to be over by Hawaii Kai or somewhere like that.
Yeah. So
That one you have on the screen there that's Urban Surf down in Melbourne, and that's from the Basque guys. What is that called? That's called the Cove, but can't remember the name of the thing. Wave Garden.
yeah, the Wave Garden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Commercially, they're the best one because there's a wave, as you can see in that picture, like every 5 seconds or something. Whereas Slater's Pool and Surf Lakes, once they pump it, they have to let it go flat again to pump it again.
Right.
Oh, that makes
Gets
sense.
crossed up. That's why Slater's wave, I think there's a wave like every 8 minutes. So it's not
Right.
like, if you go there, that's,
Continuous.
7.5 waves an hour. It's not a lot of waves,
I used
Yeah,
to go
that
to one
way-
of those.
yeah.
I used to go to one of those water parks where they had like the wave machine, and then they give you a boogie board, and you get out on that and just try to hang out for like 5 minutes. That's
Oh,
about
they-
the
they
extent of my deal.
They have a cool one in Florida it's nothing like the ones you just showed, but at Disney World it's called...
Yeah, I surfed that one
Typhoon
actually.
Lagoon, I think.
Typhoon Lagoon. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the 90s when I worked at Billabong as my title was Junior Development Officer, and I ran junior pros and coached the kids and stuff. and we'd go back there for the trade shows. And back when all the companies had money, we'd
Yeah.
rent the pool for the evening and go through the day and hand out invites to like key retailers, and it was fun, you know. And it's
Yeah, I remember that.
That
Yeah,
was
we used-
super fun.
We used to rent them back in the day. I mean,
Yeah, all the boys we'd get together and rent it. Yeah,
At Typhoon Lagoon.
yeah,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they had the perfect little peak in the middle, and then the right off the wall and the left off the wall.
yep.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Yeah,
It was-
you had a right and a left. It wasn't very powerful or anything, but it was fun. You're surfing at night. We were surfing at night and stuff, so it was really cool
With the
back
music
then. You know?
up. Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah,
You know what I found a strange fact about the wave pool was that like in the ocean, if I have one beer, I can't surf.
yeah.
But with Typhoon Lagoon, you can have a few beers and surf that thing.
Can we
It's
put
like-
that on the ad?
No. But there's something about it. Maybe it's just
Yeah, that's a selling point
you sit
there.
Next to the wall, you know you're going left. No one's going to go. There's no one in the water. It was just a weird thing because I remember like we'd have a bar at the end of the wave, like because you have to get out to walk around.
yeah.
And you just grab a beer, have a beer on the way back, jump in. Next wave, you actually surf better. You're like, whoa.
So
It's like
Scott,
both-
I wanted to ask you, like, what's it like for an expat to be over in Australia, and what's some things you like about Australia that or things you miss here?
Oh, what I like about Australia, as being an expat, one thing you come to grips with is you'll never be a local, because I may sound like I have a little accent to you guys, but when I'm here, people are like, that guy's from California. They know straight away. So if I'm out at the peak at the point here, and I've been surfing there 12, 13 years, and like some people paddle in, and I can't be the guy that says, hey, I can't, because you can't be a Yank and be like screaming at someone or yelling at someone. You just can't do it, But
Right.
But you do get respect when you've been here long enough and people are friendly. And I mean, I sell a lot of boards to Australians, and Australia loves United States. I mean, not what's been going on the last year, but in general, Australia. I mean, there's a strong tie there. It's really good. And what do I miss about the States? I miss the food for sure. You guys got the best Mexican food, and we have good seafood and sushi and that. But like, there's so much variety. California has the best Mexican food by far. So I definitely miss that.
Yeah, the States, they get everything,
Yeah, and a lot of stuff's
every
cheaper.
culture.
Like, cars are crazy expensive here, and like beer, like a carton of beer is $50 here. I keep talking about beer. I hardly drink it, but
Yeah.
it's like $50 for a box of beer. In the United States, you get one for 20. It's like
Wow.
we have a lot of tax.
It's
Wow.
But we
Yeah.
have free medical, so they tax the
That's-
stuff that causes medical problems,
Oh,
cigarettes
okay.
and alcohol. So it's fair enough.
Yeah, I get that
Alright,
same
right.
problem living out here in Hawaii, man. I've been here for 25 years and I'm still Haole boy, you know what I mean?
Oh, you always
I'm-
be a Howley. No,
Yeah.
I did a lot of winters on the North Shore, and it didn't really matter, And even like back, I think it was around 2000 when Sonny Garcia, I hope he's okay, was on the tour, and he came here, and I don't know how I connected with him, but he had me shape him a couple of boards, and I was so freaking intimidated. Going back to your question before about making a board and hoping it's the right one. And he was during the snapper contest, and he came in. He was like, when I was talking to him on the phone, he goes, "I'm pretty fat right now. It needs to be really thick, And I was like, "Oh my god," because you can go so wrong making a board too thick or too thin. And
Right.
I'll never forget. I made it for him, and I was living over by Burley Heads at the time, which is up on the Gold Coast. And he goes, "Hey, I'll meet you he was with Kalani Robb, and he goes, "I'll meet you at 1:00 at the point. Where I'm going to try that board, and we'll go for a surf." And I was like, "All right, sick," And I'm freaking nervous, And so I go down and meet him, and he's always a total dog lover, and I have a couple of Staffordshire Bull Terriers, which are like little pit bull kind of dogs. And so he's all stoked at my dogs, and we go down, and I thought he'd surf Burley a bunch, but I don't think Kalani had. And Burley's got a tricky rock jump, so we go down, and I'm like, "Yeah, just go down here and right here in the cove and go, bink, 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 off." Like because the rocks get wet, you have to go and then jump over the back of one. And I remember Kalani looking at me and going, "I'm not going to bink, bink, bink fucking anything." And he went down to the beach and paddled off the sand. And Sonny followed me straight off, had no problem, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, so I want to see him catch a wave. It was kind of pumping. It was like 5, overhead solid. I don't know if you guys know Burley Heads, but it's a sucky, fast point break. And so I quickly got a wave and went jammed across the point really fast because I wanted to see him. And I remember I kicked out and I'm paddling. I see him paddling this bomb, and just walking up the point, everybody was stopping him and wanting a picture with him, and it was pretty full on. It was a Sunday or something. And I saw him take off in this wave and do a couple of pumps, and I'm just like sitting there holding my head going, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" I see the first hit, and he throws spray about 50 feet in the air, and I go, "Oh, that was good. That was good."
Yeah.
And then, boom, the fins came out on the next one. I'm like, "Oh, that's even better." And then I saw him go all the way past the surf club and just smash all the way to the beach. And I was just like high-fiving myself.
Yeah.
There you go, baby. That's my board. You know.
Oh man, I was stoked because I mean it was it's Sonny Garcia is a heavy
Yeah, you were thinking, I hope I don't get lickings from this brother.
you were like, this could go wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
another thing, Scott. How is that feeling, man? When I saw Medina ride your boards, and how is that feeling, man, when you see somebody that's talent ripping on your boards? I mean, that must be the most unreal feeling, huh?
Oh, as long as they're ripping on them, yeah. Yeah, but no, I mean, like, because there's only, between like Shane Powell in my early days and Sonny and Gabrielle and a few California young kids and stuff. I mean, those are the guys that have just done unbelievable surfing and on my boards, and it's just been such a thrill, And all of them have been super, like I haven't really dealt with a dickhead. They've all been really super cool, and a lot of them will come back and say, hey, I love that. I'd like to try another one, but let's change this little thing, or let's add a little volume, or let's run the edges, or a little bit deeper concave, or whatever it is.
Right.
And that's when I was like, man, custom surfboards are the go. That's all I want to do. Like you got to start mass producing boards for other brands, and it just,
yeah. And hey, for our listeners out there, you guys are, looking to get a new board, man, look up Scott Crump, awesome shaper. We got his website right here where you can find him. You can email him, look him up, man. He's a great guy, great boards.
Hollywood Surf Supply.
I want to give a shout out to Spinksy for hooking us up, man.
Yeah, yes. Spinksy, thanks a lot, man, for the connect.
I know you're probably listening, Spinksy.
Did you see his surf report this morning?
Nah, dude. I watched some on the
Facebook. Stay there for a while. What's that?
I see some of them, but I didn't see today's one.
Check today's. It was pretty sick. Like, because he goes at this Alexander Headland spot on the Sunshine Coast. It's like 2 hours north of here. And it was pumped. I was like, oh.
Yeah, check out Spinksy's surf report, guys.
Yeah, Spinksy's surf report.
And Hollywood, Instagram and Facebook, Hollywood Surf Supply is like where all your like current stuff is all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna go on there and check that out too.
Yeah.
So you're on Instagram and what? No, I'm sorry.
Just Facebook still. Yeah.
Oh, Facebook. Okay.
Instagram's funny because like you can't really put like long stories about a board or something because it's all image. So a lot of people will see something on Instagram, they might even have been on their Facebook thing for a while, and they'll go, oh, cool, and then they get to read stuff, and a lot of people use Messenger to because you know how we're doing a Skype interview right now, but a lot of people use Messenger to like call me and go, hey, or they'll say, hey, can we talk about a board, all over the world, and it's just really easy, and then like you can actually talk just like we are now, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm already excited, man. I'm already looking into calling you up, dude. I'm ready to get a new board. I've been.
Do it.
I'm ready to try this, your shape. Yeah, show us one, dude. Sick.
This is this one we were talking about, which is quite similar to what you were riding.
Yeah.
This is like my Fat Aki model, I call it, my comeback board. But it's like just a round tail.
That's something Raz needs, man. We need to get Raz on a new shape like that. Something with some volume for him, and he can float. He has trouble finding that right volume. I got my magic volume 33 is about where I like. And, Raz is always struggling to paddle because he's gotten bigger over time. So he's looking at maybe like 38 volume, maybe something like that. What do you weigh, Raz?
Well, Gordo shaped me that 8.0 single fin. I weigh 250, so.
Yeah, I'd say way over 38 liters, man. Volume's your friend.
Oh, yeah, that's true. What, 40-something probably then?
Yeah, like a lot of these single fins I shape that are like we have a model called the 1+2 Play, which is sort of a really modern take on fun boards back in the day. Yeah. But it's got like all design stuff in it that works really good, and those are all up over 45 liters once they're over 6'10". Because it's just
I think that Raz should go shorter, not an 8 foot, but maybe like a 6'6",
or even just a 7 footer. You'd be surprised because they can be really free. Because you put a bunch of meat in the chest, but they're still foiled out in the tail. Because with a single fin, if you have too much meat, that thing will slide. It has to have a lot of bite in the tail. There's a lot, you can't just go thick board. Same with the twin fins; they have to have thin tails, or they just slide. You can't. They have to bite because they don't have the engine of the 3 fin.
Gotcha.
But like for him, a 7.2 by 21.5. Make it 3 inches thick, make it 48 liters, and he'll be catching waves.
You know that board you just had in your hand, man? Can you explain to me what double? I have a question because I've been surfing forever, and they always talk about the double concave between the fins, V out the tail. Can you explain to me what that does by looking at that board you got? Can you kind of?
Yeah, totally. Well, essentially, remember we were talking about the entry rocker before?
Yeah.
Well, that's the entry rocker is right about a third of the way down your board. And that's where you want your single concave to start. Because when your entry rocker, you start paddling, the air gets under the single concave, you get lift, and it throws you into the wave.
Okay.
Single concave is really fast. It creates lift, but it's actually stiff. Because it makes the board fall. You have to follow the curve of the rocker in the outline. It won't just, it's not free.
Yeah.
So the reason they put a double concave through the fins is so people like you and me that aren't Mick Fanning with absolute perfect technique and crazy muscular things, the double concave breaks up all the water that's rushing through your fins, and it just gives you some freedom through there. And then the V off the tail thing, I mean, yeah, the amount of V that when you put it off the tail behind the fins is so little. All it does is give you like a little bit of like traction or a grip. It just gives you a little bit of control, but it's it's not major in the actual design.
So when you were saying on the flat part of the deck on the bottom, what was that called? The one that makes you lift and catch the wave faster?
Straight single concave.
Straight single concave. Okay,
right,
cool.
Like you don't want concave in the very tip of the nose because concave creates lift, so your board's up, so you're going faster, like planing faster. But at the same time, it actually creates a little bit of suction. And if you have a concave all the way through your nose, your nose will grab at weird times, So you have to have it like flat or even a touch of like roll or something in the nose and then into single concave. And the double that concave you're talking about is just a scoop inside the single concave. It's not like a separate piece of work. And all that just does that splits up the water flow, so you have like it's more you can like I don't know, like when you're thinking you want to change your turn in the middle of it, you can. It gives you like twitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then but on the single fins and stuff, you don't want that. You want a rolled nose so it doesn't catch it all, flat in the middle, and a panel V off the tail, which is like just V is the opposite of concave. Just think of it. Concave's up, V is down. Okay. And V gives control and makes the board sit deeper in the water. So it gives the board control. Like people at Mavericks and YMA and stuff, those bottoms are they don't want concave in that stuff. Because they'll go too fast and they'll have no control. So
hey, Brian.
Brian, you writing this down, dude?
Brian, there's going to be a quiz at the end of the show, so I hope you got your notes.
Brian, you're the one in D.C., right?
Yeah.
How's it going there anyway?
It's good, man. It's cold. It's been snowing for about a week now, a little less than a week. It's not a lot of snow. It's like getting about like an inch every day or so. Just enough to...
Beach there, Maryland?
Yeah. Ocean City, it's pretty close. It's like
how far is that from where you're at?
It's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that.
Place gets good.
Yeah,
there you go, Brian. You got breaks right by you, dude.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn my.
They should put a pool in DC. That would be sick. Like in a
it would be sick. It would be cool.
There'd be a fence around it. Locals only, bro.
So I live right down by the Potomac River, and my roommate used to have jet skis, and we would go down there, and it's like 5 minutes away, and we would go right onto the river and just jet ski all the way up the river and down.
Where does that hit the ocean? That's got to hit the ocean somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, it does, but like they have a lot of rocks. They have a falls and stuff.
All right, so there's no gunning it to the beach on a jet ski.
No, man, no.
That'd be all right, though.
No, it would be fun.
And he took some pictures of like 10-foot surf in Boston today with snow on the beach. Like
I bet.
I mean, but water
freezing your cojones off.
Well, Brian's waiting for the weather to get about 40, and then he'll put the top down, and that's warm to him, right? So that's when he'll head to the beach with his new board, his new Scott Crump.
In Japan, it gets freezing like that, right? In Japan, it gets freezing like that, and those people surf in the snow. And I have a distributor that sells a few of my boards there, and he's also a wetsuit maker. So he made me these. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see?
Wait, it takes your internet a second to.
He made me some insane wetsuits, right? Yeah, this is like a zipperless,
nice,
totally glued and binds, crazy suit. Like they're mad, but I'm like, dude, I don't even ever need a full suit. And he goes, oh, I'm going to send you all the suits we make. So he sent me like a 543 dry suit that you would wear in Maryland right now. And
There you go, Brian. Get it.
Yeah.
Get on
I
the
got all
line,
these
dude.
suits, and all I wear is like, on the coldest day, I wear
Brian,
this.
you could probably fit in this suit.
Yeah.
You see this one or not?
Might be a little tight around the crotch area, but
Cojones.
What do you mean, might?
Yeah, no.
nothing
Cold
like
water-
surfing in a wetsuit that's too tight, you know.
Nothing like
Like
surfing in a wetsuit with a 9-foot boa constrictor strapped around your waist.
Well, get along. That's the wrong podcast.
There's one way to warm up your wetsuit that we all know about, though.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
yeah. You remember in the old days, dude? We had the ones with the big thread in there, and it'd rash you up everywhere. Nowadays, they're like, they're unbelievable. Now they go
Yeah,
over your
right.
head, and they don't have that zipper that gives you rash. And
Oh, but those
You know-
those armpit suits, I think O'Neill did them. Those things would just tear you up.
oh man, get out of the water just hurting after a sesh.
For some reason, the Japanese have always had the wetsuit thing just nailed. They do. They've always done the best wetsuits ever since I was a kid. I used to ride for a company called Hotline that was a Japanese company, and I go there and they give me all these suits, and they felt thicker than what we would use, but the rubber's so flexible and the seams were so good. You were just like, yeah, they were great. They were
Comfortable.
way ahead of us. Yeah, totally.
Well, hey, Scott, man, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us on the Matt Coast to Coast show, man. It's been a pleasure meeting you. And, you guys don't forget to hit up Scott if you want a new board, if you want a personal custom shape rocket, hit him up, man, because I'm ready to get one. I'm sold already.
Unreal, boys. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. Pretty funny, actually.
Hey,
I enjoyed
pleasure to
it.
meet you, brother. Thanks for coming on.
No worries,
Yeah.
all the best. Hit me up anytime, all right?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
will,
man.
man. Definitely, man. I'll hit up all your social media platforms and keep in touch with you.
That'd be awesome. And you stay warm in D.C. These guys got it over you.
I will. Believe me, man. I'm
It's
getting
cold
ready.
in Florida right now too.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's
Really? How
cold.
cold is it over there?
This morning was like 37, I think.
Okay, that's pretty cold.
And that's
Yeah.
Fahrenheit, not
Yeah.
Celsius. We're 37 Celsius here today.
I was
That's
up in
about
Alabama for a couple days. It was 32 at night, 31 one night. I was up there. Pretty cold.
Woo.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
getting a cold front here in Hawaii, man. I think it's going to be 78.
I was waiting for that. How did you get there? And these guys aren't.
And on that
right.
note, Matt Coasters, that's it. That's it for our shows for today. Go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell. Till next time.